such trouble. You're such trouble.
Talk about pickles.
We are doing pickles today. We're doing a bread and butter pickle recipe.
But there is no bread.
No.
And there is no butter.
No.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's crazy. Why is it called that? Who knows? Anyway, it is Dario and Anita with Passionate Cooking. Chef Dario and Anita with Passionate Cooking. And all the recipes that we have, the first place that you go to is What Stirring newsletter. And that's where we're going to have all the details with recipes, with cooking tips, with our retreat that will be coming up, with many retreats that will be coming up. All the details will be over there at the What Stirring newsletter on our mailing list that we're going to be doing all the details. But today we're doing the recipe that we're going to be putting on the newsletter for Thursday that's coming out. And this is the video for
Bread and Butter Pickle.
Perfect.
But look at, number one, this is when nature is beautiful. This is a fresh pickle, and I'm not kidding. You know, you see the dirt?
It's got dirt and all.
Coming out of our garden. And that is the beauty. So how many of those ingredients right now will you have from your garden? Then you gotta start harvesting.
But this isn't the only pickle. We've had many pickles.
Oh yeah.
And some of them were massive as well. And that's what I love doing with our...
Yeah, we want it as small as possible for this.
But that's what I love with our Fridge Feast series, is because we're using things from our garden, from our fridge and our pantry, that you could be able to use at home.
That's right. So, like we said, we're harvesting right now. We just done...
Zucchini last week.
Yeah, and then we were doing this weekend 300 liters of passata di pomodoro. 300 liters.
Still aching. Still aching.
But I want to show you something. So this is a simple, normal pickle. They're coming right from our garden. And you see they're not all the same, which is the beauty. So the first thing I want to make sure, then I want to show you, you see, you've never seen it if you buy it to a store, all this little prickle. It's almost like roses, how do you call this? This thing?
The thorns on a rose.
The thorn on a rose. You got a thorn on a pickle. So the first thing you want to do is wash them properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a quick rinse. And as I'm rinsing it, I'm taking not just the dirt out, but I'm also removing all those prickle things, which is very important.
Not as bad as what a rose would be.
Not as bad. But for people, I mean, and this happens in pickles and happens in cucumbers, okay? You never seen it, because unless you have it on a garden, they come out and they have all these stinging nails, and as soon as you rub them off, you see, they're gone.
They're gone, yeah.
Okay? So, why bread and butter pickle?
Because you can serve them with bread and butter?
You can, yes. I mean, it's the simple accompaniment. Bread and butter is almost like, when you say bread and butter, it's as simple as it's bread and butter. They're very simple.
That's the reasoning they called it that?
That's one of the reasons.
Okay.
And also because it's versatile for many ways you can do it. Super simple recipe, nothing complicated about it. You need salt, sugar, apple cider vinegar or white vinegar, some heat. Obviously we need the chili. And then we need the vegetable, okay? And the vegetable in this case are onions, okay? Which you cut in little strips, 1 centimeter thick. And
I noticed they're actually a little bit bigger, and I guess if people don't like to eat the onions, they can take it out?
No, because we're going to break them down right now with salt. And it's going to take almost an hour to break them down. So the step of this one, the actual step will take almost 4 hours by the time you start to finish. From the grinding to the pickling until you start eating it is almost 4 hours, I would say. Why? Because there is the first step, which is the brinding, which we're gonna marinate or brine the pepper and the onions with the pickle. So with the pickle, what we're gonna do, we wash them. We don't do nothing really too fancy, and we cut them in little pieces like that, like little circle. So you can put them on your burger, you can put them as a garnish into everywhere. And I'm gonna cut them in little pieces like that. Just like that.
Just like that.
Okay, I'm gonna add them to the mixture over here. I got another one here, beautiful. And you can see Mother Nature, that's why sometimes I laugh when they say organic, they have to be all perfect. Well, this is 2 pickles from our garden. One is a little bit smaller and it comes on one way, the other one doesn't come the same way as the other one, but it doesn't matter.
But you could cut the pickle however you want, though, really, right?
You can cut them wherever you want,
Yeah, yeah.
except not in the floor. Okay.
That's the one I'm gonna have for later. It's
Oh.
5-second rule.
5-second rule. So you see what I'm doing? I'm gonna put it right here, okay? And I'm just gonna marinate them like that. So what I have here, simply, the pickles, the onions, and the pepper, okay? We're gonna sprinkle some salt, okay? And the recipe is right on Passion is Cooking. We marinate properly, we cover, and we put them in the fridge for approximately an hour. An hour will be the perfect time to do it. What's gonna happen in that hour? As soon as we add the salt into the onions and the pickle, the vegetable will release a lot of the natural liquor. So, okay? But also they will release a lot of the bitterness. Okay? So what we're gonna do, as soon as they're gonna come out, we're gonna rinse all the salt out, that was gonna be too salty, and we're gonna squeeze the excess water out. And I'm gonna show you in a second. So this one is the first step. The second step, I'm gonna go in the fridge, and look what's happening. Now, yellow pepper, red pepper, whatever pepper you want. But look what's happening here. Look at this. You see what happened here?
All the
Look at that.
liquids come out, yeah.
See what happened here? All the liquids that's really, so, and the only thing you have here is the pickle, the onions, the pepper, and the salt. Nothing else.
But you rinse off the salt?
We're going to rinse it off right now.
Wow.
Because otherwise, if I would put this one, it would be over salted. Okay? The salt will still be trapped some into the pickles.
So I've been making it wrong.
Well, no, you're not making it wrong. You just make it different.
Because I would do it.
What a good answer, huh? Yeah?
Because I would do it, but I probably wouldn't put as much salt, so it probably didn't bleed as much, or it didn't.
Yeah,
release
and I mean,
moisture
it's the
as
same
much.
as the same idea. For example, if you're making eggplant, okay, so the eggplant have a lot of bitterness, okay, into the eggplant. And when you eat an eggplant, if you don't remove some of the, I call it dirty water, but it's actually the bitterness of the water, by adding salt and press them, there is a lot of water and a lot of bitterness. So the water becomes very dark. So what I'm going to do, just rinse this one out. Just remove them right out like that. I'm going to rinse them under cold water really quickly. I don't want to do it too long. Squeeze it right out. And really, it's so simple.
While you do that, I'm going to just talk about
Yes.
other things you can do with cucumbers. 'Cause that's what we're talking about is cucumbers today. Every week we're picking something. Last week was zucchini. Next week's tomatoes. Cucumber recipes for juicing.
Yes.
Of course, you know that I've got the juicing online. So mint cucumber. Mint of your cucumber is one of the recipes we have at Passion's Cooking. So go on over there and make some really interesting cucumber juices out there that you can pair with your meals as well. There's so many neat things you can do with cucumbers. We of course love them in our salads.
Yeah.
As well.
You can use anything, and I mean, you mint the cucumber. This is probably one of the perfect pairing for anything you have. You can have it with a soup, you can
It's
have it
so
with vegetable,
healthy.
and you can have it with fish, which is
It's
phenomenal.
very, very healthy as well.
So what I want to show you quickly, because this is pretty much the big part of the work that is really done here. Okay, so we cut off. Well, we removed a lot of the saltiness. Okay, but it's still salty. Okay, we still lot the salt in it.
They look like pickles.
Yeah.
They're using
But if you eat them like that, they're almost too salty still.
Yeah.
Okay? So you wash them, you rinse them properly, and then now you prepare the pickles. Simple pickling recipe. So, look at this. Technology, we're gonna start.
We've got so many things out in our kitchen right now because we've been so busy cooking and preserving.
So we have apple cider vinegar, okay? You can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white wine vinegar, you can use maple vinegar if you want it. I'm gonna put just a little bit more here because I have a lot of pickles coming, okay? I'm gonna give you a quick dosage, 250 ml for 2 to 3 pickles. You probably need 250 ml of vinegar to 200 ml 180 to 200 ml of sugar, okay? So you want a little bit more of acidity than sourness. Then we're gonna add the sugar. So the purpose here right now, we want to make sure that the sugar will be dissolved. Okay?
That's quite a bit of sugar.
Of course it is. Because the sugar, what it's gonna do is gonna preserve them.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're gonna make sure that power kicks in.
Now all the ingredients and the details are on Pasha's cooking, right? The recipes, so we can get all the quantities depending on what they're doing.
So, and this is so easy. It's extremely easy. So now once we have the pickle, okay, so as you can see we have vinegar is the preserving, sugar protects it, counterbalance a bit of the saltiness. Now we need the excess flavor, okay? And the flavor that we use are cloves, classical for pickling, okay? Mustard seeds, okay? And what I like to put, I put a little bit of fennel seeds and a little bit of fennel pollen because I think, personally, fennel and pickles work perfectly. Now, having all that, we have...
Oh, can I ask a question?
Show me.
How come there's no garlic?
There is no garlic here because it's really not needed.
Oh,
There is no need.
butter don't have garlic. That's a different type of pickle.
I'll tell you why also. But that's a good question because you know
I
everybody.
just love garlic. So.
Well, and you know what? To be honest with you, there is really nothing wrong about putting a little bit of garlic. The reason is you have enough strength here from the onions and from all the other components. So you have to really be careful. Okay, the garlic might be a little bit overpowering. If I would put the garlic, what I would do, like I always do, you make sure then you peel it, remove the center part because if you don't remove it, the center part of the garlic, as you're pickling, you will see the big green part of the garlic. So you see, you want to make sure that all the sugar is dissolved. At that point in time, very simple. Look at that. We just add in the spice.
You don't have to continue stirring it either.
Nothing. It's done.
Wow.
So I'm gonna add, and as soon as you put it in, it's almost like you're toasting the spices. You release
it right away.
You release essential oil.
Yeah.
So the fennel is in. I'm gonna go down a bit on the heat. Okay. I'm gonna add the mustard, and again, one by one. I don't want to put them all together. Okay.
So you start on high, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you can see now the mustard seeds are going. Now with the cloves, what I like to do, I like to smash them very gently. Okay, I got probably 4 cloves here, and just put them inside. And now, as you can see it, everything is developing. Everything is just coming together. And I'm very gentle, okay? I don't want to be too aggressive on it. Soon as it slightly comes to a boil.
You haven't stirred it at all.
No. As soon as that sugar, I stirred at the beginning because the sugar,
Okay.
you're afraid and the sugar is going to stick in the bottom.
Now it's bubbling.
And now it's bubbling. So now what we're going to do is this. We're going to lower down to almost nothing, and we're going to add the heat. So the heat here is our beautiful chili. Now,
From the garden.
from the garden.
We've got a lot of chili from the garden.
We got tons of it this year, yeah? So what I like to do, just quickly cut them in pieces like that. Because, you know, if you find them inside, lucky you. Sometimes not.
Well, it depends on what their flavor
So what I do, I like to put them inside, okay? Seeds and all. As soon as you put that chili, you can feel the reaction for the essential oil of the chili really bouncing back to you. I give it 30 seconds for the chili to dissolve, with the essential oil to dissolve, and then as soon as they're dissolved, now I'm gonna add the pickles. Okay? Now watch this one. From the time we put the pickles into the pickling liquid, no more than 3 to 4 minutes. Okay? Then you're gonna shut it off and you're gonna be ready to jar it. So what I'm gonna do?
I'm really learning here myself. This is one that we haven't done
This
before, so I'm
it's-
kind of fascinated myself here.
It's an easy recipe.
I would have thought that it went into the jar and then you pour the liquid in.
You could.
So how come
There's-
you're doing it?
Because I really want those vegetables to be absorbing. I'm
Okay.
always afraid then they're not mixing properly. Okay?
And if you do it this way, can you use it quicker?
What do you mean? No,
Can you, as opposed to stirring in the jar? Like, I know with the zucchini we
Right.
did last week,
Right.
if you put it in the jar, I think you said it was 3 hours that you
Yeah.
could use it,
Yeah, yeah.
or it could store for a long period of time.
Right, right.
With this,
This one is as long as you can get. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
I would
I
like
wasn't
to.
sure if the cooking sped up the process.
Well, it definitely speed up the process,
Okay.
for sure speed up the process. But also we want to make sure, right? See what I've done now? If I would have put it in a jar, that would have been fine, okay? But what I like to do, I want to make sure that every single pickle is being
Yeah.
absorbed. So you can see my temperature is down almost to nothing,
So I
right?
wonder if you can just show people sort of
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Just quickly, you can see it.
Yeah.
Can you see
It's
it?
pretty full of pots.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
difficult. But basically everything is just submerged into the liquid.
So we just gently simmer together, and then we're gonna shut it off. And we have a mason jar ready to go. The greatest thing about this
Yeah.
is once we have a hot liquid that goes into a hot jar, soon as we seal it, it's sealed. You don't have to worry
We
about
did that
nothing.
with our tomato sauce.
We
too.
done it with the tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Okay? So when we made our tomato sauce, we made sure that liquid needs to be super hot.
Do you need a spatula for this?
A spatula.
To be able to pour? Or you
A
can just
spoon,
pour it in?
or a spoon, yeah, no, we're gonna use a spoon.
Not a spatula, I mean it's
A
a
spoon
ladle. I
or a
was
ladle,
thinking.
yeah, for sure. So here we go. Like a little spoon here.
I was thinking something like this. Is it too big?
Maybe we're gonna look at this colorful thing.
Oh, but it's...
And then we're gonna put the liquid.
Okay.
So watch this. This is my favorite.
This is totally new to me. This is interesting.
But you know what? It's about, you know, this is a pickle, for example, that where I come from. It's not a common thing to do because we are not big pickle eater in Italy. But when I learned this one, I thought it was the most fascinating because the versatility of this dish, a grilled fish, a piece of meat, on a burger, on a chicken burger, or anything you want. It stays in a jar, you take it with you, it's delicious.
But the zucchini scapeche?
Yeah,
Scapeche?
scapice, yeah.
It's Italian, and it's similar.
It's similar, but not the same. I mean, this is more, bread and butter pickle, I think is more of an Anglo-Saxon, do I say it right? Way of doing it. And I loved it. The first time I actually was introduced to it, I thought it was phenomenal. It was a great idea, and I loved it. So here we go. So they are in this beautiful pickle. Look at them.
It's so easy to make too.
Super easy. Super easy. And look at this. So now we're just gonna. Now remember about the jar.
You want it to stay hot.
But what do? We sterilize the jar.
Oh,
and
yes,
the
yes,
jar,
yes.
the sterilizing is so important because what do? You know, we boil them. We boil the lids. We boil the jar, and make sure they are super dry after they've been boiled, and then we dry all our lids, and we make sure then they are ready to go.
Turn it off? Or
Yes,
no?
please. So here we go, and I'm really gonna pack them. You can see I can feel the heat already from the, which I want to, because if I can take the heat, I gotta get out of the kitchen.
You gotta take the heat.
So look at this. Look how beautiful colors here.
Yeah.
So now, what I like to do is quickly press it down on the edges. Okay, so you see that?
It's really packed in there.
It's packed properly. Now, I'm gonna take a cloth underneath like that. I'm gonna get a little bit of my juicing.
Now, do you fill it right up to the line?
Lie to the lines, exactly. Look at that. See?
Bubbling because
See,
it's getting into the...
exactly.
the
So
spots.
what we want to make sure that it's done, so I'm going to take it right down again. So what I'm going to do with the back of the spoon, I'm going to create some spacing. I'm going to plug this thing. See what happened? Soon I create some spacing,
There's more room.
there's more room, correct.
Yeah.
So imagine if I were to put them all inside and then pour the liquid would have now gone
Yeah.
completely everywhere. Okay.
Now to do this, you're going to be submerging more in it, or is it just preserving that much better?
It preserves much better, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it preserves definitely much better. So at this point in time, you're done. So this is your big job here. After you've done that,
and as long as it's hot,
as long as
it
it's
will
hot,
seal properly.
so you go like this one, you press down the little dots here. See, there is almost like a little cap.
I love it.
And you make sure that it's perfectly tight. See what happened?
It's sealed.
The big bang was a seal.
The Big Bang. That's what we should call it now.
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang.
Look at that.
I love it.
Beautiful little bread and butter pickle. You keep
Very
them up
hot.
very hot, but now with the heat, you will see they will basically, the seal will just shut everything up, create a vacuum, let them cool, put them in the fridge, and leave them in your fridge. So what we like to do, let's say if we do a big batch, it's pretty much like we done the tomato. We prepare in canisters, okay? We put some newspaper or towels around it, because if you put two hot jars side by side, they will explode.
Kaboom.
They will explode, okay?
Yeah.
So always recommending to have some towel, some paper. What we did, we had these bushels like this. When we made our tomato sauce, line them with old cloth, old newspaper,
Yeah.
and line them around it, okay? And leave them at room temperature until they were cool, and then we put them on our fridge or whatever you want.
Yum. Another delicious recipe.
Very simple, isn't it?
Thank you, Dario.
Thank you, Anita.
I learned something new today.
Well, he's not, you know that. But you see now?
Well, this one I have not made.
No.
That's why I'm saying it's a different one today.
And you know, I'll tell you one thing. I love this thing because the first time I seen it, and first of all, I said, when people told me, said, "Oh, we're gonna make, we're gonna show you some bread and butter pickle," I said, "Bread and butter pickle? Why would you wanna do bread and butter with pickle?" But I understood, because the bread and butter is how simple this thing is. Now, if you wanna change something, what could you do? Well, you can put some ginger in it. Ginger will be phenomenal with this one if you want it. If you can do it with carrots. You can do it. We're gonna try to.
So you could do the exact thing with anything else, really.
I
the
would.
same
I
type
would
of
do.
recipe.
I would do with anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. But that's.
And if people don't want too much heat, they just don't have to put the peppers
You
in
don't
it.
have to put the chili flakes. You know what? You can put. You know.
Or you can set the chili flakes aside and not eat them, really.
You could actually put a whole chili flakes inside, smash them, put them inside, then remove it after. I mean, it's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
The heat is important because there is a sweetness and there's a sourness, and really helps when you're marinating this little thing.
Gets that taste buds going.
But look how beautiful! Look at the
And it's
beautiful.
great to add to so many meals. To, like you said, a burger. You can have them on the side. You can add them to just about anything, right?
Anything you really want it. If you want it with fish, is phenomenal. This thing. If you want to have a little, club sandwich.
Yeah.
With a little bit of bread and butter pickle, it's phenomenal.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. So thanks so much for joining us today. It's again Dario and Anita with Passion is Cooking. Come on over and subscribe on our YouTube channel, or sign up to our newsletter. We love hearing from you. What are you making with cucumbers, as we share more with our newsletter?
I make some pickle. What are you doing?
Ciao
Ciao, guys.
for now, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.